up, guys? We're here at 66 Tactical in Yukon, Oklahoma, late at night around 8 o'clock so that we can get some shooting done in the dark because OLIGHT has sent me this OLIGHT PL X, which is a weapon mounted light that was just released. I think they're unveiling it at SHOT Show. I got the light a little late and I'm just now getting to the range. You guys have probably seen a few other videos of other shooters on YouTube and OLIGHT themselves posting content about it. What we are gonna do today is I'm gonna mount this on a couple of different of my handguns. I also brought a few other weapon mounted lights so that we can compare. They've got fancy packaging. Okay, read me, maybe. Cool, little tool. Looks like little inserts. A USB-C cable. Don't need that. And here's the light. All right, so just looking at it, first impressions here. I like the blacked out kind of look of all the logos. Very tastefully done. You can see the different beam options. So this light has essentially two beams in one light. It has a high beam and a low. I really only use the low beams on my weapon mounted lights at the house because I don't need a super bright light. But if I was like outdoors and maybe I had a property that I needed to shine some light on, the higher beam light would come more in handy. But it looks like you have this little switch here that can go back and forth and pick which beam you want to use. One thing, okay, it came charged. I didn't charge this thing. I wanted to literally open it up on camera and see if you guys can stick it on a gun as soon as you receive it. The switches feel really good. That is one thing I look for in a light, is that the switches feel tactile and don't feel loose, and these feel really, really nice. It looks like it has some kind of, let's see, where's that thing I threw around? So this is it says a GL rail adapter, so I'm guessing that's for like a Glock rail adapter, and this might be just like a universal Picatinny rail adapter. But it looks like it's got a little slider here. Move it around on your rail and really get it cinched up to a gun. It's a little tool. It looks like there's a little screw here, a little Torx screw to change out the insert if you want to do the Glock insert. And then this is the tool to tighten it up. I guess this tool here also does the, no, it doesn't do the side screws here, which is weird. You'd think they give you one tool to kind of do them all, but it only works on that little screw head right here. So I'll stick it in my pocket. Dude, build quality looks great. So to give you guys a little bit of information, I'm on OLIGHT's website. They are claiming this to have 1200 lumens. This is made out of 6061 aluminum. Max throw distance on the high beams, 300 meters. That's wild. I don't know who would use this on a handgun to aim that far, but you can do it. Okay, so here's one thing I am on the fence about. This is not a light that you can pop this off anywhere and have batteries in and out of it. This is a USB-C. I know it's kind of becoming popular to make everything have its own battery, but batteries degrade over time. If this has high use and the battery takes a shit, you gotta throw a whole light away? I don't know. Not a big fan, but you know, that little door there feels pretty nice. Feels solid, like I'm not gonna break it. USB-C, everything's USB-C now. The weight is 3.07 ounces. The max light intensity is 22,500 candela. Mode operation, flood and spot mode, toggle. And that is your toggle right here. And it also has a strobe option. That's kind of it. So we are gonna stick this on. So I brought a Glock, but I don't really want to change out the little insert. I did bring this Springfield Armory TRP 1911 in 9mm. So we're gonna see how easily this goes on. I am not a light guy, so excuse me if I'm fumbling this. This little notch here also fits a 9mm casing. All right, pretty solid. So that's what it looks like on a Springfield TRP 1911. This light is meant more for a compact gun, obviously. While we're here, I did bring a couple of other handguns that have lights on them that we can compare. This is a Springfield Prodigy with a Streamlight TLR-7A. This is pretty comparable to in size to the Streamlight. This does have a battery that can be popped in and out, but this only has one beam. We're gonna compare it against this eventually, and brought the big guns. I got this Gibson Custom Guns with a Surefire X300 Turbo. We're gonna compare these three firearms with their respective lights just to see how the OLIGHT PL X does. But what we're gonna do first though is, before we compare, I wanna take this TRP out there with the PL X and just run a few drills, shoot at night, just get go through the settings and just kind of get an overall vibe for it, and then we'll do that comparison. So we're gonna load up some mags and then we'll meet you guys outside. Okay. All right, and then just stand on this side of it so I'm not pointing the gun at you. All right, guys, I am out here outside in the cold. One thing I didn't realize is that Range 66 or 66 Tactical or whatever, they put up new floodlights. So it is a little brighter in here than I was expecting. We're gonna run through the settings of the PLX. I've got a couple of targets down there, which I'll show you guys. We got a couple steel, a couple paper, and we're just gonna run a few drills, not really drills, just kind of shoot around a little bit, play with the light, play with the beam, and then see how it goes from there. Just kind of first impressions of the light out here. We're gonna point the light at those barrels. It looks like the Spot. It is the bigger LED down here. You guys can see how bright that is, and then you switch it to, I guess, the flood. That hotspot encompasses, man, quite a bit more than the other. One thing that is cool, so say that we're shooting at that down there, the spotlight really highlights the target wherever you're shooting it, and where like the flood, it just kind of would cover, it covers both of them, but it out here in these light conditions, you can't really tell the difference. We might try to find a bay that's less lit so we can really test out the beams, but we're just gonna get some shots off. Man, I'm not used to these 10 round 1911 magazines. I wish the button to leave it on all the time was a little easier to access. There you go. All right, so this is kind of like more of a floodlight. We're just gonna go back and forth here. Wow. All right, so let's switch to the high beam here. All right, so that was a few mags with the OLIGHT PL X. I'm gonna get a Prodigy that's got a Streamlight TLR-7A, I think. Direct competitor to this light, and I can tell you already has less features. Build quality is gonna feel almost the same. The only thing that this doesn't have is like a proven track record. The Streamlight stuff is very proven. I'm gonna grab that and just shoot around a little bit. All right, so we have this Prodigy here with a TLR-7A, rocking a Sealy optic, which I'm gonna do a torture test on here pretty soon. So that is the only light option that you have. We're just gonna shoot around a little bit, see how it goes. I might just switch out lights and run this, because this just looks hella cool while I'm shooting it. You wanna shoot it just so you can see what it looks like behind the gun? Doesn't it look cool? There we go. Wonder if we could do a little something. Hold on. You can kind of see it in the shade a little more, and you can see the difference between floodlight on the building hitting this target and then that target that's being blocked by the barrels here. And this is, again, the TLR-7A. For another comparison here, I've got a Surefire X300 Turbo sitting on this Gibson Custom Guns Praetorian 5-inch gun. I love this thing. This is the Turbo, kind of a a little bit of an industry standard. All right, so this one is pretty bright, but you get both of those with one light that costs, I think, like 120 bucks or something like that. Incredible value, because just this alone is like over $200 just for this light right here. So let's shoot some rounds. Back on the PLX with the Springfield TRP. Now that I've got the other lights kind of fresh in my mind, this is the you know, wider beam flood setting, and it is, I mean, if you guys can tell, it is way brighter than the TLR7A. And if we go to the beam area that it covers on the target is pretty similar. The X300 is going to be brighter, but again, like I was saying, you get both of those lights in one light that's under 150 bucks. Wild. Let's run a few more rounds. And again, I wish the buttons just stayed on a little easier. All right, so that's the flood. And here's the spotlight. This thing's pretty awesome. I hope it stands the test of time, because it's kind of blowing my mind. And I wanted to do this completely without messing with the light before we got here, just to get these reactions. And dude, if this light holds up and doesn't break, it could go on every gun. If they come out with a longer version, like the X300, that has even more power on it, and they put an actual battery in it, I would just buy this thing. Cool. Switched guns because I just liked how the fireballs were coming out of the port up here on this Prodigy. All right, here we go. Again, the only thing I don't like is how unintuitive the button is to keep the light on. Just to introduce a little bit of movement to this so you guys can see the light peeking around a corner and how that would look like. I've set up a couple of barrels. There's a couple of targets down there, a couple of steel. And at this point, I've almost just given up on the TLR7. And we're just gonna do a more of a direct comparison between the PLX and the X300. So I'm gonna run just a couple of like lateral movements while shooting down range. First up is the PLX. Maybe do one run with the spotlight and then switch it to more of the flood light. Okay, here we go. All right, so now we're here with the spotlight. Okay, here we go. And we're out. Now, for a comparison, we're gonna get the Gibson Custom Guns Praetorian out and run the X300 with the same type of lighting. All right, so immediately looking at this light compared to the other one, the X300 is brighter, and I'm gonna give it a very subjective number here, maybe by like 20 or 30%. God, I love this gun. All right, here we go. And we're out. Y'all heard me blasting that steel. Target acquisition is very easy with the really hot spotlight. It's diminished returns at this point. This light gives you, let's just say it's 100%. If the PLX gives you 80, 90%, is now this gun worth 2.5 times the price? Well, that's on you. That's a very personal decision. Some people just like to spend money. It's the gun and the light for you if you're gonna do that. But if you're a little more budget minded or just like trying new shit and you wanna get 85% of the X300 Turbo, then get the PLX, dude, because it does both. I already put down the TLR7. I like the floodlight on the PLX better. My only complaint right now is that I don't like how unintuitive the stay on button instead of just the momentary light is. I have a hard time accessing the stay on feature, and I just keep clicking momentary light switch on. So one thing right now that I don't like the PLX. We're gonna give it one more go and then maybe let Alyssa shoot it a little bit. So I'm gonna not use the spotlight setting and use more of the big wider floodlight. All right, here we go. I'm gonna do one more go with the TLR7. Oh, this Fiocchi jammed up. Ah! 2 World Wars. And we're done. Dang, this Fiocchi 115 grain stuff jammed up, but it also might be this TRP that is probably hasn't been lubed in a little while. Doing a direct comparison, the PLX has a better light than the Streamlight TLR7. That's enough for shooting out here. I'm gonna let Alyssa shoot the Prodigy a little bit. We're gonna do a non-firing light beam comparison, and then we're gonna go down to the 30-yard range and see how far the spotlight can hit a little steel target. It'll be about 30-25 yards down. This light, of course, won't cover that distance, but we'll compare it with the X300 with a little bit of distance. You wanna shoot a little bit? Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Good job. You pretty much hit all of those. We're in a little bit of a darker area here of the range, just so you guys can see how each light throws its beam out, right? So first up is the TLR7A sitting on the Springfield TRP 1911. We're not shooting, we're just aiming the light. So that is the only setting, really, that is usable on this gun. So kind of, it tries to be a little bit of in between, right? Like it won't have that much reach, but here at about, what's that, 5-6 yards where our dude is, it brightens them up quite a bit. There's a hot spot halo kind of around that, and then it just kind of falls off there into the darkness. Next up is going to be Surefire X300 Turbo, sitting on this Gibson Custom Guns 2011. And again, same distance here from where we started the last one. And that is a super, super bright light. It's very focused light. You can see a really hot spot there in the middle. It doesn't have as much bleed off as the TLR7, but it definitely is brighter in the center. This is the OLIGHT PL X. We're gonna start in the flood setting, like the TLR7. You can tell the TLR7 had a little bit more of a hot spot that was bigger in the middle. See a difference, a hot spot in the middle at all. It's just the same amount of light all the way around. I'm gonna have both of them in my hand so you guys can see back and forth. So this is the TLR7. And now this is the PLX. All right, so back and forth. PLX is brighter. The TLR7 doesn't have as much overspill of light. We're gonna do the spotlight setting on the PLX. Super hot spot, not a lot of light spillover. You can kind of see it right here on the ground where my finger's kind of starting to pop up on the shadow. Right, like where is it at right here? You can kind of see the light. There's the spillover there, about right there where my finger's on the shadow. Let's compare here directly. So we've got the Turbo in my left hand and the PLX on my right. We're gonna do Turbo and then PLX, and we'll go back and forth. So here's the Turbo. And PLX. Definitely brighter on the turbo. PLX, still bright, but not as bright as the Surefire. Now, this is one thing. I didn't charge this like the manual said. So, is it not as bright because it's not fully charged? Maybe, but that is the beauty of having batteries in a light. This thing has a status LED, and if you guys can see, it's red. I have a portable charger. We're gonna put it on the charger for a few minutes just to see if that improves the brightness of it, because I'm guessing red is not good, right? One of the reasons why I don't like having a rechargeable battery on this. Now I have to literally manipulate my gun to charge my light. Let's turn that off. This is what I'm talking about. So now, is this the future? I don't know, man. If it is, I don't think I'm a fan right now. I think it's charging. It's on. Like if it's charging, the red is on. So we're gonna let that sit on the charger for just a few minutes, and then we'll come back and finish this video up. All right, so we're here at like about, I don't know, 20 yards or so. There's a little piece of steel down there. We've got here on the table the PLX, which did charge a little bit with sitting on my power bank there. The light did get a little brighter. So here's the PLX. All right, so that way you guys can see how big that bright spot or the hot spot gets. I mean, you can even see it back there lighting those trees up. All right, let's do the turbo. So this one also lights the trees up back there. The light is more concentrated than the PLX. Now that this is charged to like the medium setting, the amber colors, I'm guessing it's green, amber, and then red, the light definitely got brighter. We're gonna compare the beams real quick just to give it a fair shake against the Turbo X300. There's the Turbo and the PLX. So, as you guys can see, the hot spot is more concentrated on the X300, but the brightness very similar. In conclusion, that's really the only thing that I would say is a negative towards this light. We ran it for an hour at least, right, back and forth between the other lights, and immediately dropped to red. You could see the light quality dropped from earlier. You guys saw it, that was on red when we were doing the first comparison, and now it's on the medium setting. On the positive side, I like the build quality. I like the innovation of the multiple beams of light. I like that it's got the strobe, the flood, and then the spotlight settings. Momentary switch is very easy to access, but I have a hard time, of course I'm talking about it and I can do it, just clicking it on and leaving it on. I was struggling with that earlier. Now I can't stop doing it. But in the moment, I couldn't really do it. All those are positives. The price point, it's under $150. I am a fan of this. And the big con for me is the not having a battery. Like I already have to charge so many things in my life. My phone, my cameras, everything I do for work has to charge. The last thing I want to do is, oh, I forgot to charge my weapon mounted light. So to me, that's the con, is the USB-C rechargeable battery that is in this light. It is definitely a weapon mounted light that I would consider buying to try out, especially for the price point, just to have complete clarity. OLIGHT did reach out to me and they said, hey, can we send you a light that's gonna be releasing soon? And we just want you to make a video of your thoughts. They didn't really ask for anything else. They did send me this light for free, but they're not paying me to say anything. I'm being a little crucial of it, as you guys can tell. So just full transparency there. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to OLIGHT for sending this light. Hopefully we can continue to work together and keep up the innovation, because those other lights have kind of been the same for a long time, and you guys are coming in here and trying to change the game. Competition drives innovation. We need competition. We need companies like OLIGHT that are at a good price point, continuing to push other companies to kind of do the same. So that is it for us here at the range. Thank you. We'll see you guys next time.